You want to travel full-time for your work or your partner's work, or you just want to travel full-time and you don't know which way you want to go about living. RV traveling or Airbnb hopping. I've personally done both. Let's go pros and cons. Pros for Airbnb, the obvious ones. Bigger spacing. I mean, you're either in a house or apartment. Usually they are way bigger than an RV. I mean, that's the main one. Branching off of that would be the amenities that your Airbnb offers. Bigger yard, fenced in yard. If you have dogs, that's a big one. Pool, hot tub, whatever you want, you can pick. Another pro, lack of stress. I would say 8 out of 10 times Airbnb hopping has been less stressful for us than RV like park moving. Usually have to do is punch in a little door code and you're in the house. We have to usually set up the crates for my dogs, and that's about it. A lot of the times with Airbnbs, you're in bigger areas, neighborhoods, you're closer to grocery stores and stuff. RV parks usually are a little bit more land, so usually they might be a little bit on the outskirts, which is totally fine with me. But if you like being closest to like grocery stores, walking distance places, RV parks are usually, not that. Airbnbs usually are. Now, talking about all those amenities that you could potentially get with an Airbnb, the biggest thing comes up. What is it? Everybody knows it. Pricing. The pricing difference is so astronomically different. It is crazy. Now, don't get me wrong. I get it. You're getting a bigger space. You're getting the potential for a yard, potential for a pool, a lot of potentials depending on the Airbnb you pick. But the pricing is so different when it comes to monthly living. Most Airbnbs we were staying at, we were looking at around $1,700 a month to $2,500 a month, depending on the area we were in and the amenities it offered. We always got somewhere that had a fenced-in yard for my dogs, so it just made the pricing go a little bit up because you're usually looking at houses with that. But the pricing is definitely the big issue. I mean, it's so astronomically different, and we'll talk about that when we go to the RV pros. Another con when it comes to Airbnb hopping is just that it's not your home. A lot of Airbnbs don't have monthly just because they're usually booked, so you're usually living out of a suitcase. It's not your dishes, it's not your shower, it's just not your space. And that's really just that to me is the main con, honestly. My dog was just not comfortable at Airbnb because they get like 3 to 4 days every Airbnb that we went to where they're just stressed out. It's just a new spot, smells and stuff like that. I did forget one pro for Airbnb, I will say, is water pressure. Water pressure in a house is way better than it is in an RV. That the water pressure sucks. So I think those are the biggest pros and the biggest cons when it comes to Airbnb hopping. Let's talk RV. RV pros. This is going to go off of the Airbnb's cons. So the big pro is the cost difference. Here where we are, we're in Pennsylvania. I pay $600 a month, $50 to $60 for electricity, and that is it. $650 is way better than what I was paying, around $1,500 to $2,500 depending on where I was. And then another pro that goes off of Airbnb's cons is that you're home. Your decorations, your dishing, your bathroom, your stuff, your bedding, your home. With my dogs, they feel a lot more comfortable moving areas because the only scents that are different is what's outside. So they're a lot more comfortable. Like I said, that's more personal. But even me, I mean, like, I didn't like having to learn the kitchen, learn the dishes, if they had everything I needed. The bedding was uncomfortable, the bed was uncomfortable, stuff like that. Now, if we're gonna go to cons when it comes to RV, you don't have a yard. I mean, you have like a spot, and usually you have like a little bit of like a grass area that has a picnic table and a fire pit, but you don't have a yard. So you have to walk your dogs. A lot of RV parks do have dog parks, but if you don't like walking your dogs, I guess that would be a big con. I actually have to pack my dogs up and go to a park nearby to walk them just so I don't have to run into the 20 dogs that I'm gonna run into. Once again, personal con, but that's like the only thing that really sucks about having dogs and RVing is just the lack of yard. Another big one, kind of going on the no yard, a lot of RV parks like pack them in like sardines because they're just trying to get as much space, they're trying to get as much money as they possibly can out of it, and I completely understand that, and that's just something you're gonna have to get used to if you're RVing. It's just not having a lot of privacy. I have this cloudy stuff over my windows because my dog does bark at, hello? My dog does bark at, like, if they see dogs outside or like people are walking through our spot, which me personally, I don't have any problem with someone riding through my area. It's not my area, but like if someone rides through it or walks through it, my dogs bark. So I just have the clouding over, and then I have in front of me, I have blackout curtains. It helps with the privacy part. Another con when it comes on to like people cutting through your area, if you don't like that, if you're someone that doesn't like people near you cutting through your area, you know, I wouldn't say not respecting your area, because to me it's not disrespectful. I don't have an issue with it, but some people do. So if you're one of those people that's gonna have an issue with someone doing that, you're gonna either have to get over it or not RV at all, because they're gonna do it. The biggest one is the 10-year rule when it comes to RVs. A lot of RV parks has a 10-year rule, which means that they do not allow monthly stays with RVs that are older than 10 years old. Ours is older than 10 years old, very nice looking, restored on the outside, there's no dents, no nothing, but we have been turned down for monthly on a few occasions because it's just an older rig. So if that is the case for you and you're gonna buy an older rig, just know finding places for monthly is going to be a little bit harder. I'm not saying impossible, because we're here for a few months. It's just a little bit harder, a little bit more research, a little bit more calling, sending pictures of your rigs, stuff like that, because some of them will let it happen as long as your rig doesn't look bad. It's just depending on the space. I'm probably leaving a bunch of stuff out just because I kind of like spur of the moment did this video, but I just think those are the main pros and cons for both. I would say there's also like hotel and motel hopping. Obvious for those, you're in a smaller area. I mean, you still get a suite if you can with the kitchen. It's a small spot. They are easy though. But dogs with motels and hotels, I would say, is the biggest con. But that's, you know, that's just if you're gonna go that route. Some people are still up in the air. I have a friend that's up in the air right now. I'm trying to convince her to go RV route, but you know, who knows? Okay, I'm editing right now, but if you have done either of these and you have more pros or cons, you should list them down below, because I would like to know too.